Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
Joel Embiid, defensively, meet me at the rim. James Harden, offensively, meet me at the three-point line in the corner. Jacking it up, baby. Wow. And I'm a bit disappointed because to this point, number one, there's been a lot of fans just basically ridiculing this team, saying that they're going to lose anyway in the second round, so there's no reason to buy in. There's no reason to live night to night with this squad. And shame on you. And it's so pathetic that we actually had to, today on the radio, say scratch the 27 of 33. Yeah, we said forget it. Even though they won 27 of 33 games entering the second half of the season, put that in the trash. Throw it away. We shouldn't have to do that, but do it. Tonight, the NBA tips off. Tonight, they're 0-0. Can we make a pact that you watch from this moment on and say, let me enjoy this basketball team who wins a lot of games, who has one of the best players in the league, elite force? Unfortunately, we're starting from ground zero. People still don't even in this city believe in Joel. Now, I find it to probably be a loud minority, but we took calls today saying, name me a great player who's never made the Eastern Conference before. You won't find one. Therefore, Joel Embiid isn't great. And I'm like, oh my God, we have to start there. Like, we have to start convincing people that Embiid knows how to play the game of basketball at an epic rate. Holy hell. Why did we get this way when it comes to Sixers basketball? I don't know. But here's what I do know. Normally, I've been doing Broads media stuff for years now. Normally, we break down every single Sixers game. This year, it's been a bit different, and I apologize for that. But with the other gig over at the Fanatic, with an Eagles Super Bowl run and a Phillies World Series run, it's been hard. It's been hard to fit in the time to break down a random game against the Pistons. I did it in doses when I felt necessary to discuss something after a nice window. Well, now it's time. Now we're here. Now we're looking at this backstretch. You got Boston on Saturday, and I'm going to be in the building, and I can't wait. It's going to be electric. It's time to dive into this team. And for them to start it off with those 4 final minutes, Tobias Harris after the air ball. That dude was ridiculous late. Doc Rivers using his challenge. When they called the charge, they called the offensive foul on Tobias. They went to the review. The Sixers won the challenge. Not utilizing an all-bench lineup in the second quarter after Desmond Bane went off. I thought at one point it was 21 points in the first quarter, but I think they retracted it and went to 19. I don't know. I don't know if I heard the broadcast properly. Regardless if it was 21, 19, it was too many. And Embiid started off 0 for 6. So what do you know? The Sixers were on the other end of coming back from a double-digit lead and ruining a deficit. Or, I guess, ruining the other team's chances of winning when they were up big. And Memphis does have a lot of great players. Jaren Jackson Jr. is fun to watch. John Morant. But Embiid says no. Embiid in the paint. Good luck, dude. You're not going to beat me. And he did it. And Embiid wasn't even that good on the offensive side. He just bought in on the other end. And said, fine, not my best performance. And by the way, not his best performance is 27 points, 19 boards. He hit 27, 19, and 6. With 6 blocks. That's a bad day. That's what we label a Joel Embiid tougher night. Leadership from the big man. Wasn't his day early. Some illness. That's what the reports were before the normal shoot-around, before the game, that is. And there he goes. He put it on display. And it was outstanding. James Harden with the pass to Embiid when he had the big slam when the Wells Fargo Center lost its mind. PJ Tucker with the huge offensive board to keep the possession alive. I've been trying to tell you, PJ Tucker will be appreciated. PJ Tucker will do some things that won't be special, eye-popping Joel Embiid level stuff. James Harden fading away, step back threes. It won't be that. But when it matters, in big possessions, PJ Tucker will be there. Whether it's small ball 5 or not, damn it, he will show up. There's times where it's frustrating because he doesn't take a wide open 3 and the ball gets kicked around a little bit. You know, it's irritating, no doubt. When the games matter most, PJ Tucker will be here for you. I promise you that. You were still able to do this and accomplish your goal when Maxey had the game Maxey had, when Embiid had the game Embiid had. Seriously, you overcame a lot of adversity without, in my eyes, the MVP of the league being there on the offensive side of the floor. But other guys stepped up, and you ask a lot for Tobias. He's easy to rip because of the money he makes. But at the end of the day, what he's been asked to do since being here in Philadelphia is honestly absurd. We need you here. We need you there. You got to play this role. You got to play that role. Primary ball handlers changing every single damn season. It's Ben. But wait, it's not Ben in the playoffs in the fourth quarter. It was Ben all year long. But when we have to talk about the most important possessions of the year, he can't be there and he has to go stand in the dunker spot. He's so bad that Brooklyn is now putting him in the same spot as Furkan Korkmaz. That's what you had to deal with when you were in the playoffs. 4-on-5. He's not even playable anymore. That's what you had to overcome in the second round. And by the way, these second round games, the second round series, they were going to 7 games. You're losing deep in that series. If you don't think playing 4-on-5 is going to impact that, that's why it's hard for me to relate the previous seasons to this one. I don't care if they had second-round exits in previous years because I can't compare Marco Bellinelli and Ersan Ilyasova to this team. I can't compare Ben Simmons versus the Atlanta Hawks to this team. Yes, the organization as a whole has struggled to get over the hump. But just like any professional team, there's times where you just have to keep grinding. The Bucks kept grinding. The Bucks continued and continued and continued, and then they did it. They made improvements. Well, so did the Sixers, because James Harden right now is playing special basketball. The way he's facilitating is unreal. And helping Joel Embiid get to his spots. The two-man game, I'm in love. And we didn't have this version of James Harden last year because he wasn't healthy. And he also got thrown into the fire. Here's your team. Good luck. We don't appreciate enough in this sport what a primary ball handler provides. They mean the world. We had Josh Richardson. We had Ben Simmons. We had TJ McConnell because Ben was terrible. We had Jimmy Butler in the fourth quarter after not handling the rock that way for so long because Ben Simmons is horrible. This isn't easy. I love Tyrese Maxey, but you put the ball in his hands and it's not as pure as you would like it to be in theory. There's reasons why. With the Bucks, Drew Holiday, it matters. It's difference-making stuff. And now James Harden is a guy who changes the entire landscape of the squad. He's a threat. He can take you to the rack. We didn't see that burst last year at times. It was brutal. Go, attack, beat your man one-on-one. It felt like he was settling. Well, he was, because he wasn't healthy. I don't know where this team ends. I don't know what the finish line is. If it is the second round again, then we can have a conversation about Doc. I'm not tied to Doc forever. My point is, right now, you can't get to the second round. So if you're just waiting until the playoffs, I question if you like basketball. I question if you enjoy basketball, because all this team has done for you this season, other than the upsetting start, is play beautiful basketball. Right now, if we're going to compare this to the Philly season, the beginning of the year was Joe Girardi. Right now, we're in the middle of the Rob Thompson part of it, where they ran at one at an epic pace. I don't know what the win percentage was, somewhere around 650, 625, 630, whatever it was, over 600. We're in the middle of that. If you can't just appreciate it now, we'll get to the playoffs, and we'll react to the playoffs, and we'll react to bad things that happen even in the regular season. But we have to make a change as a city when it comes to how we watch this team play. And I thought today was an awesome start for them because, unfortunately, they're in a tough spot, the Sixers are. And for them to win in this fashion, James had 31, 7, and 7, 6 threes. But it was a grind with the chirping. Dylan Brooks, the fraud that he is, getting in the face of James Harden early. Keeping his hand on him after the whistle was clearly blown like 3 seconds ago. But he's doing that to try and irritate James to get into his head. Didn't seem like that worked, dude. Afterwards, George Niang, same thing late. Joel Embiid running his mouth. There's something in that. I take pride in the chippiness. You're down big. You keep going. And then you go chest to chest afterwards. What was that? What was that shit you were talking to me? You joke. You absolute joke. You clown. You fake tough guy. As George plays his role. Gets the crowd going. Everyone's on their feet, giving the standing ovation. They go to the monitors to see what it was. I love the way that they handled that. Now all the eyes are on the NBA. I think the players are aware of that. And also, look, there's a lot of people talking about this practice. Apparently, Doc Rivers didn't like the practice yesterday. It's like, oh, well, what type of team do we have here? A team that knows how to answer. A team that has won when they've been down a lot of the times, but no one seems to give them their credit. This was prior to tonight's game. Derek Bodner had a tweet, and I screenshotted it. This was, I think, over the weekend, because I knew how important it was to highlight it. And now, of course, I go to my screenshots, and it's just my dogs, a cup of coffee, shoes. Oh, I'm going to find this. I might have even written it down. I'm going to do that. It might be better. By the way, Gerard with the $50 donation. Thank you so much, Gerard. Let me find this quote, and I'll read what you had to say. Oh, here you go. I did find it. Okay. Gerard with the $50 donation. I love the show. What an awesome comeback and resiliency from the squad. Embiid wasn't backing down even with this struggling shot. Harden was just a joy to watch. Heck, Harris with some clutch shots in a 20-piece. I'll take it. Great W. Thank you so much, Gerard. I really appreciate the $50 donation. That really does mean the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the kind words. I enjoyed it just as much as you did, man. I really did. So here's Derek Bodner. This was before today's game. The Sixers are 20-10 against teams 500 or better. They're 7-3 in games decided by 3 or less points. They only blew 2 double-digit leads in the second half in losses. And they're 25-3 when leading at the half. Prior to this win against Memphis, you'd think that this team was 4th from the bottom. You'd think that this team was in a play-in situation in the 9th seed. This team is really good, really good. I'm not telling you not to be afraid of Boston. I'm not telling you that they're the best team in the entire league and they're automatically going to win a championship. I'm saying give them enough respect because they're in the competition with the rest of the top of the Eastern Conference. The Bucks, the Celtics, the Sixers. That's the Eastern Conference. And they're in the grouping of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. From there, we'll see what happens. From there, we'll react. But I know if Embiid is capable of doing this defensively, and I know he can definitely be extremely more successful on the offensive end, you're right there. If James is this healthy, you're right there. Tobias last year in the playoffs was so good. Defensively, too. He was amazing. He has his ups and downs. He's asked to do a lot. His role is constantly kind of changing. Give them a chance, because all they've done to this point is proven that they deserve one. From there, it is what it is. Oh, you sure you're going to put your emotions into the Sixers after being heartbroken from the Eagles, after losing to the Astros? Yes. Yes, because I don't know how else to do this. That's what being a sports fan in my eyes is. You know what the worst is that happens? I'm upset for a week. I'm upset for 2 weeks. Now, I'll never get over the Eagles Super Bowl loss. I'll think about it forever. But in regards to impacting my life so extremely heavily that I feel down in the dumps. So I'm sad for a week or two? So what? That's the worst that can happen. And I'm not putting my faith in a team that blows. I'm putting my faith in a team that is just as good as the rest of the top teams in the NBA. And in this league, if you have superstar talent, you're in position. You're in position. And guess what? They have that. So I'll read off a couple text messages here. Why don't I? Steve says, Daryl Morey traded Ben Simmons for James Harden with a cracking up emoji. I was expecting James to be healthy too this season. I remember you saying to give him some time after the trade and his bad playoff performance in the fourth quarter. Just let him go and react once he can have a full offseason. Healthy Harden, headband Harden, whatever it is, he can make this run happen. I'm picturing the meme right now, LeBron James with the cigarette in his mouth. And, you know, you kind of say like LeBron James, whatever James, blah, 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 blah. I think you all know the meme I'm talking about. Headband Harden, I'm in for. I'll be honest, when Jimmy Butler did the karate style headband and the rest of the team followed, there was something where I knew, like, all right, baby, this is going to be different. All right, the tone is now set. It's a different animal in the building tonight. I felt that way with James too. And come on, man, you got to keep rocking that thing. That thing is something. That thing adds some swag. That team, that headband adds something to this team. Some balls. I know that sounds silly, but it's an attitude difference. It's an attitude adjustment. I want Embiid to rock one too. But Embiid can do whatever he wants. But I'm with you, Steve. Daryl Morey got James Harden. James Harden. James Harden for Ben Simmons. What a fall for the guy. It's a shame. He did this to himself, though. That's a pants job. That's what that is. The Brooklyn Nets, pantsed. You got one of the best point guards in NBA history to team up with one of the most skilled big men in NBA history. We may never see someone this size at 7'2" with this type of versatility in his game, the footwork, the smooth jumper. He could play like a guard. He could play like a big man. He could play like a wing. His entire repertoire. He might be the most skilled big man ever to ever play the game of basketball. And you were able to team him up with a top 75 player. I don't know how you're not excited about that, because I know I am. Tanner texts him, Embiid with the defense, bros. The Joker could never. I'll tell you what, I think it's a sign for our leader to struggle on the offensive side of the glass, but stay committed on the other end. Most exciting win of the season, and those final 4 minutes made my family loco. I love that, man. Just watching with the pops, watching with mom, watching with whoever, the family, the sister, your brother, whoever it is, and you guys are sitting on the edge of the couch watching Tobias hit another one for 3. Watching PJ Tucker keep the possession alive. The ball swings. It's Tobias. Nothing but net. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! This team is going to feed off this, and you're rolling right into another one against the biggest rival. And it wasn't so pretty the last time you saw this team. You were in their building. They were down a couple guys, and it felt ugly. One that you weren't happy with afterwards. Really? That's the effort we got tonight, boys? Well, now you get to do it in front of your city. And I expect them to keep this thing rolling. And there's no way that Embiid's going to struggle like this for a long stretch shooting the ball. He didn't make his first 6 shots. Desmond Bane was abusing you, drilling everything. They had a comfortable lead. But the Sixers continue to attack. And give them credit and give Doc credit because he coaches when they win. I know that hurts a lot of you to say, but it's real. See, and this is what I'm talking about. They got lucky. This is what I'm a Sixers fan. They got lucky. Still not sold. Embiid is moping around. And why did he take that 3 in the second half? Game was close, and he took a 3. Get on the low block and score down low. I'm not making this up. He was ice cold from deep the entire game. You better show me a convincing win against Boston. What do you want me to do with that? Do I react to that? Do I not? This is what we have to deal with. Now, I'm going to sit this one out. I don't know what to tell you. I'm at the point now where if you feel that way, I can't help you. There's nothing I can do to convince you otherwise. Show me a convincing win against Boston. Shut up. Shut up. You don't like basketball. That's all that means. Because if you do, and you watched what just transpired, you'd be thrilled. You'd be pumped. Your best player had a tough day, and all he did was do everything in his power to make sure he could make up for it because you're human. And you will miss shots, and it won't be your night. And why did he take that 3? Because he's good at shooting threes. You do know that there's an element here of if he is up by the perimeter as a big man, that draws defenders out by him, which opens up space elsewhere. There is other avenues to him being up there. And you know what else is crazy? These dumbasses who hate this team so much and say they don't have a shot would tell me that the Bucks is an impossible matchup. That normally correlates. If you don't feel strongly about this team, you think the Bucks could smack them around. How does Brook Lopez play? I'll sit here and wait. I'll relax. I'll hang out. You let me know. How does Brook Lopez play the game of basketball? Because if you use your eyeballs and you watch the damn game, he's hanging out in the corners all day long. All day long. Because that's how you play the game in 2023. Holy hell, man. I can't believe we're still sitting here having this discussion. The team you're fearful of has their big man camping out around the perimeter all game long. We looked it up today. He doesn't even post up. The most on his, there's like 3 other guys. 2 other guys. He might be 3rd on the team, I think it was, if I remember off the top of my head. Their center 3rd on the team in post-ups. Giannis can't shoot a basketball to save his life. He should probably be posting up more. But he doesn't, because this game is about spacing and being able to be that threat. And that's what Embiid is. But I take pride in the fact that, okay, I'm not making my buckets tonight. That stuff happens. How can I help my team win? What can I do to make sure my team is in the best position possible? Coach didn't like the way we practiced yesterday. How am I going to lead? How am I going to show them this is what we're going to do when times get a little bit harder? And he's blocking the hell out of John Morant. He finishes with 6 blocks. I don't care how. I care that you win. Because part of that Derek Bodner stat that I brought up was blowing second half leads. And I got pushback from John Kincaid of The John Kincaid Show, who does a fantastic job in the mornings. Make sure you check him out on The Fanatic. But one of his responses was, well, you're only looking at the 2 blown leads in the second half that resulted in a loss. They've blown leads that didn't result in a loss. Well, say that last part again. That didn't result in a loss? Then I don't care. If it's game 3 of the second round, it's tied 1-1. The Sixers were up 20 in the second half. Then the opposing team goes up 2. Sixers respond. They win by 6. They're up 2-1 in the series. Normally, in the playoffs, you're going to be playing against good opponents after that first round. That means the other team is going to have their push. Sixers are going to make a 20-10 run. The other team is going to make an 18-6 run. Welcome to basketball. The name of the game is that. If they have a lead and blow it and win, they won. Ty brought this up today. If Jalen Hurts countered not the Patriots, the Chiefs, let's say Bradbury didn't get called for a flag. Jalen Hurts gets the ball back with a minute and change, timeout. You get a chance to rebuttal. And he goes and scores a touchdown, and they win. You had a double-digit lead at half. You lost the lead. Jalen Hurts brought you down the field to win. I don't care that they blew the lead. They would have won the Super Bowl. If the Sixers have a lead and it slips, but they win the basketball game, they won the basketball game. There was a reason why they were in the position to begin with, to be up big. There's something to that part of the game, too. I'm a little baffled with some of the philosophy. That's all. That's all. I guess we'll rock a call. Why don't we? Let's go to Jimmy.
What a game. That was essentially the Sixers telling the city of Philadelphia, hey, I know you guys are still in your feelings about the Eagles losing. I know you're really excited for the Phillies opening day and coming in a month, but we're still here. We're back. We're still here. This team had one of the best regular season games I've ever seen. It was so entertaining. What a win. And, yeah, let's start showing the Sixers more attention right now because they're playing well. This is probably the best chance they've had in this current window to win a championship. So, and they deserve the attention. Let's do it.
That I agree with. You go to the J.J. Redick, Jimmy Butler years, and, we thought that was definitely a good spot to maybe capitalize on, and it didn't end up working out. There were other seasons with Joel. Joel was raw, and we found out Ben's flaws. The Brooklyn Nets head coach went public and said, what do you want me to do? I can't go big. I can't go small. There's problems every single time I try and maximize this player. And if we feel like that doesn't matter, like we're just pretending that doesn't exist, that's a problem in my eyes. You had to deal with that. And when you're in the playoffs, the separation between these teams in the second round, it's not very large. I'm even starting to go, now, the fact that they were even in some of those series the way they were with Ben doesn't even make sense. But I give credit to the rest of the squad. They're playing a really tough schedule this second half when looking at the numbers and, what the analytics say about the toughness of the schedule. Okay. Well, they started off 1-0. And I know they're starting off pretty aggressive here with 6 important games. Can you start off 2-0 and beat your big rival to really make a statement? I think it's coming. I got a lot of faith in them. You heard that correctly. I do. It is time for Sixers mode. And I'm excited for it because I realized at the break, and it's just because of where the sports calendar took us this season with the fun runs, but it was like 57, 58 games or so into the season. It's like, oh man, that went by with a snap of your fingers. And they were just there. They were doing their thing quietly, flying under the radar a bit. No one was buying in. So they figured the garbage out, that whatever it was early where they were struggling. And they did this too. James Harden missed a lot of time. Tyrese Maxey missed a lot of time. For them to stay afloat during that time, and more than that, because look at the position they're in. Sixers mode, baby. It's Sixers mode. Now I can't wait for Saturday. And being in the building is going to be so much fun. Thank you guys all so much. I appreciate it. Fun game tonight. Talk to you guys later.